Shamsul Alam Pantho, as I read out in response, Donald Trump has signaled readiness for a new wave of sanctions against Russia. Meanwhile, Moscow dismissed the threat, stating the sanctions would no effect whatsoever. Do you think, sir, Donald Trump signaling the second phase of sanctions on Russia? What concrete measures are likely to follow at this stage?
Thank you for the question. I understand that it's of high significance in regards to the Ukraine and Russia war. Donald Trump, he has been trying over the last several weeks in order to get the both leaders of Ukraine and Russia to host a bilateral meeting, understand what the differences are. But in this case, the aggressor remains to be Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia, and we've seen him at the SCO summit. We understand that he has allies which include China and also in India. So these allies are supportive of the Russia's economy, which Donald Trump seems to trying to impair to slow down his offensive of Ukraine. But if you look at Viktor Orban, who's another leader of a nation over there, Hungary, if I'm not wrong, and he says that Ukraine to be divided up by 3 zones, and there should be a demilitarized zone, which is now the eastern Ukraine flank captured by the Russian army. So we can definitely see that a signal is coming where a new border dot lines could be drawn depending on how the entire world reacts to this issue. But Volodymyr Zelensky, leader of Ukraine, does not see likewise. He sees that this is a blatant aggression into Ukraine, and of course he's got the coalition of the willing, which is headed by the UK government, including many countries in Europe, and they are all in one pact. They understand that if Ukraine cannot be spared territorially, maybe it could have a spill-out effect on other member nations, NATO member nations who are surrounding Russia. We know that Finland has a long border with Russia. So these are the rhetorics and the narratives that we are seeing today. But once again, Donald Trump, the leader of America, United States of America, even after him trying to discuss with Vladimir Putin, it didn't fare any kind of positive reinforcement, if not positive outcomes, towards ending this fighting between Ukraine and Russia.
So after Putin's recent visit to Beijing, how deep is the China-Russia partnership, and could it evolve into a formal alliance because India has endorsed this relationship?
Thank you so much for quite so significant question. You see, China and Russia, they share a type of governance, communism if you would call it. But even aside from that, they also have a large border that they share with one another. And today the entire world seems to be attacked, or if not, the US seems to be attacking Russia on the entire world stage, is due to their aggression towards Ukraine, which is a land that is historically theirs before the fall of the Soviet Union. And in my understanding, at the SCO summit, we did see how Russia and Russia's Vladimir Putin and his counterpart Xi Jinping, and how they were communicating between one another, the power stunts, the show of posturing, how they could be further allied in upcoming decades. There is debates and arguments regarding the emergence of China in the global governance throughout the entire world. We know that during the first industrial revolution, it was America who had led the entire world, and of course there was subsequent World War I and II. But in the 21st century, I am very opinionated on the fact that China is an emerging power, and it has emerged in to the likes onto the same plateau as United States of America. And today such a relationship between Russia and China could not only bolster each other's economies, but they could both ignore what the US is planning to do, which is tariffing both of these nations into a place where they cannot recover economically. So such a notion does set for a ground for a not extended World War III situation, if you would call it.
What are the regional and international implications of the deadly attack near Jerusalem and Israel's subsequent strikes on Gaza? I have seen in ILTV, Israel television, state-owned television, that they did not allow a single media event to visit the place. When Netanyahu with his allies, his cabinets has visited the place, no media was allowed.
Thanks for the question. We're quite so significant. I'll try to answer. Before the Hiroshima bombing, there was aircraft dispersing leaflets into the city, telling the residents that there will be a big, massive strike. Similar event has happened in the Gaza Strip. People in Gaza have seen leaflets and pieces of paper falling from the sky, telling them to evacuate before further military escalation takes place. Of course, defiance of the Gaza people. They are not moving 1 inch from what they call and what they claim as their home territory. And not only so, we have an international flotilla, a collection of 20 ships that are arriving at the Gaza Strip in an attempt to break this naval blockade that the IDF has conducted over the years. And of course, Italian MP Arturo Scotto is to join this flotilla. Previously, activists such as Greta Thunberg was also there. The IDF had taken seizure of the ship and then had every one of the activists temporarily deported back to their home nations. So this time around, it is quite the scale that they have brought to the Gaza waters. So it's early to say what will happen, but this time I'm pretty sure the IDF should feel overwhelmed with such an overwhelming response by the international community.